Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair. I am Kai, and I am here today with a special guest, Sar0ck. And today,
hello.
and today we are going to have an interview with Sar0ck about her VTubing journey, and we'll kind of start with that. So, when did you start VTubing or your content creation career?
Well, first of all, welcome and thank you for having me today. And then how did I start everything? To be honest, I started this, I think in 2021. I had a few streams, which was basically me doing my homework online, some 3D art and then some 2D illustration as well. And, you know, it's so easy to get discouraged, which is exactly what happened. So I went and did something else for a job, you know, because I was basically just testing streaming out. So I started for a bit. I stopped for, I think, a year and a half. And then I feel like my official real serious debut, well, not debut, but the day where I started to really wanted to get into it again was in 2023, the 29th of November, which is very soon. We're going to celebrate the anniversary very soon.
Very, very cool. What streaming platforms are you on primarily?
I'm primarily on Twitch, then X, then YouTube, and then, you know, maybe on the side, you know, a little bit of TikTok, and a little bit of Blue Sky here and there.
Have you done any streaming then on X itself?
No, I have not streamed anything on X yet. I mainly use it to post memes and post when I'm live and, you know, ask my people some questions, get to know them a little bit.
How was the journey? I mean, so you were talking about how you started with doing originally some artwork on stream and then it didn't go well. So what made you take a second chance at it?
I personally always wanted to do something creative with my life, and ever since I was young, everybody told me it wasn't going to be possible because, you know, it's an art thing and, you know, people don't win their lives with art. Except, you know, that's not completely true. And then this is from getting away from what I wanted to something more stable that I realized that I was going to hate the rest of it. So I decided to take the ultimate risk. And also, since I'm still pretty young, I decided, you know what, I have nothing to lose because I have nothing. So might as well just go full in streaming and try to do commissions and do art, go to conventions and live off of that. And for now, I have to say it's been a success. It's not the success that I still want it to be. This is still some work in progress. Like I said, there's nothing that's truly finished. So I'm still working on that. This is the channels, everything is still really fairly small. I applied, though, to several conventions. I went to Germany to do art as well. So, you know, all of that I wanted to do, but was always very scared of doing it. And it's while putting yourself in a position you hate, that you really realize that you hate it. So this is where I decided, okay, it. If this fails, this fails. But at least I will know that I tried my best.
And that's I feel like that's a common occurrence too. I feel that way too when it comes to, because I do counting for my day job, and it's like, do I really want to do this the rest of my life? And I got to that point. I'm like, you know what? I'll just double job and go for it. So that's here I am too. It's like,
yeah, but I have to say, you know, the while having the stable income, it's really not only reassuring, but you also know when you work and you know when you don't. For me, I have several jobs, you know, which is all happening online. It's all under the name of Sar0ck. You know, I handle my own commissions. You know, I do emote, I do illustrations, I do merchandising for other VTubers and for streamers as well. I offer all kinds of services additionally to my streaming. So it makes it so that I wake up and I have to work on these things constantly, and you always got to innovate and do better than last week, which makes for a really, sketchy schedule, because you can never truly maintain, you know, the work schedule of a 9 to 5, where, you know, you're going there at 9 and you're coming back to, like, at 5.
Yeah.
this kind of stuff that I do, yes, it's creative, but it takes all my day. Like the only time I get for myself is basically when I eat.
Oh
And there I
no.
allow myself to watch One Piece.
Well, at least you get some time to yourself. I mean, that's the important thing. But yeah, I can see where that's dicey, especially getting art done, planning the next show, getting all the assets ready. It's more than a 9-to-5 job, and that's one thing I don't. When I see that stuff on X where they say, "Oh, streaming's easy," I don't think it is. I don't think it is, especially the level of creativity that you're doing. I mean, let's be honest here. You
Thank you.
You built Sar0ck by yourself, correct?
Yep. Designed it. God, the design phase was so long. Oh God, that took forever. Yeah, the designing, the making, the rigging, the everything. Yeah, it's by my own hands.
So how long did it take you to get all this set up?
So, are you talking about like the skills, or are you talking about just
how
when
long
I
did it
started
take
working on the model?
the model, and then being able to get all the emotions, such as I really like the touch with the ears wiggling and being able to change the shape of your eyes and being able to blush. How were you able to get all that? How long did it get it all together? That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is so cool.
You know what? I can also turn into Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hey, Shadow rocks.
He's the best. he's Sar0ck, but all right, that was bad. Please cut it.
Yeah.
So how long did it take? In terms of hours, I couldn't be able to tell you, because it would exceed at least 300 for sure. I would have to say, this isn't my first model either. I did 3. I did 3, and I partially worked on one for a client as well. So technically 4, but I didn't do the rigging. So I started working on it in April of 2024, and I officially finished it, I think, in the last week of August 2024. So definitely took a grand majority of spring and summer to just do it. And that is while I was streaming. I went to conventions as well in Germany, and like from Canada, that's a hell of a trip.
Oh yeah.
And I went to several conventions to attend there and have my own booth and be able to showcase my art there. So between all of the streaming and the traveling and the coming back, and oh my God, did I not tell you I moved also?
No.
Oh, I moved and all of that. Oh no, it was crazy chaotic.
Oh no.
So in that time, yeah, that's from April to August. So approximately 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess to dive deeper into it, so like when you do each emotion and stuff, is that a different element that you have to set with the rigging, or that you had to draw yourself, or how does that all play in together?
Well, essentially the only thing that we're doing as VTubers is we're basically it's like having a Snapchat filter, and you get to set your own sliders. Okay, so when I tilt my head, it does this, it does that, you can all set this up, but it's basically just a software that tracks your face and assigns values to it. So you can really get super creative with everything. Like when you see my eyes move from right to left, my eyebrows go up, everything. I'm not touching buttons right now. I'm just, I'm just, it's my head.
Wow.
That's just what I do.
So I've never seen it getting that much technical side of it. So this is actually fascinating to me. So you don't have to do like an animator where they have to do thousands of different pictures of Sar0ck to put it all together for all the animation that you do then.
No, it's basically face tracking. There are some animations that I've animated myself. If we get Fletcher here for a second, there we go. Hello, buddy. So we can have Fletcher here, and I think something that I animated was him eating bread.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he gets blushy a little bit. So there's definitely some stuff you can do. It's long to set up, but I have to thank every single one of y'all out there who make tutorials. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. The only reason why I was capable of doing this is because there's really talented and kind people out there who decided that this knowledge shouldn't be behind a paywall. So I thank them.
Yeah, I've seen there's some tutorials on it, but I really never dive too deep into that. So that is fascinating, just how much work has been put into this. And I mean, it is a fantastic model. I mean, I absolutely, like I said, I like how the ears and everything. And that's what's so fascinating with VTubing. One of my interviewees that I had, Thorn, we were talking about how it's so cool in the VTubing world as a content creator. You have more flexibility to change your backgrounds, change what you're wearing on a whim, and be able to do different themes versus, you know, like flesh tubing, where here I am in that. I'd have to literally get up, go change to a different shirt or something, or put on a hat just to change what I'm doing in the content creation. So I always thought that was cool. So, I mean, I wanted to just throw that in there because I think that is so neat that you can change on the fly.
I'd say change on the fly is definitely something that looks easier on the outside than on the inside. For example, I've got, my own here model with all the clothes. I mean, I can take some stuff off. Mm-hmm. It's not everything though, I have to say. But if I was to change my outfit, I would basically have to just design it, draw it, and then rig it as well, which is, I personally believe that this is an advantage I have over other VTubers that have to get and pay their artists and their riggers and everything and wait for 10 months for an outfit, as I can do it in like a month and just, make it quick, make it done, make it good. And I know it's going to be exactly like I want it to be because I'm designing it. So there is no, overlooking something and applying changes. It's just, it takes time for others. For me, it would take some time as well to change outfits, but it's definitely something that involves, buying and spending a lot of money for a lot of people, I'd have to say.
So pretty much you're just trading your time to get it done versus people having to pay to get it done, which you're correct. That's definitely an advantage on your side, but also a lot more pressure on your side too. To get done, I think. Well, yeah, but every time I do something, I get to learn. And every time I learn, I get more powerful. And I feel like it's the only way. If you stop learning, this is where it starts to go downhill. I was going to say, watch out, Sar0ck's becoming a Sith Lord.
I mean, hey, eventually I'd like to be a VTuber wizard, all right, where I can just do everything with the push of a button, which is what my stream is mainly centered about. I want it to be dynamic. I want it to be real-time editing. It's like you're watching a YouTube video, but like in real time with all the edits and all the, all the stuff put in place, So
have you done 3D modeling and stuff like that too?
I do have a degree. I do have a degree in 3D modeling, so I have. How successful it was, I don't know. It was okay, but it's definitely something I trained less because I've always been way more interesting in 2D. But I have to say all of my knowledge of 3D has really, really helped me out with rigging. Because I've rigged 3D models before. And it's almost the same, way easier. But, like the moment you understand the nature of rigging, it makes the entire thing way easier.
Interesting. So what is the better opportunities between 2D versus 3D? Because I know there's a lot of audience out there that may not understand when they say there's 2D rigging and then there's 3D rigging. So what is the best explanation that you can give?
There's different ways where you can look at that question. There is A, the technical side, B, the artistic side and how it look and the visual sides, and then 3, there's the budget side. All three of these points bring different points to the table, basically, because some people are going to be more leaning towards something that's 2D. I'm more 2D oriented, so I like for my VTuber model to be 2D. I feel like it's as a VTuber, you're trying to get as close as possible to anime, which is 2D, you know? So that's what I do. But there's a lot of really, really pretty 3D models out there that, you know, seem really expensive that work exactly the same. I mean, look at all the Honkai Star Rail and all of the Hoyoverse people and the characters. They're amazing. They look great, and they're 3D. So it's definitely up there. So if you want me to really divide them, or did you want me to give you more of a broad...
Kind of give a broad scope of it for the viewers, just kind of, because everybody says 2D or 3D, so kind of what the differences are and kind of how it may be different. Because when I think of 3D, I think of full movement, like if you're in VR chat or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't know if that's actually even the correct terminology.
Well, some people do use VR chat to stream, and Twitch has been, with their TOS, has been recommending using VR chat, because if you are inside of VR chat, you're inside a game. Even though you have a green screen and it looks like you're only a VTuber, you are inside of VR chat. That means you do not need to follow the entire TOS
I knew we were
IRL streamers.
Hit that one.
I know, I made a song about it. It's so stupid, I had to sing about it. That's how dumb it was.
I'll have to hear that song at some point, because when I saw that, I'm like, really, Twitch?
Oh yeah, no, it's so dumb.
I'm like, what?
I mean, people have been getting banned for almost no reason, because the Twitch TOS is not... It's vague, and the way they, you know, apply it, it's... Anyway, there's a lot of favoritism, and it's not always clear, and you don't always get a reason why. So, yeah. I pray for everybody that has befallen the Twitch ban hammer. But to go back to our question, I'd have to say, really, the biggest difference between 2D and 3D is it's the visuals. I'll just tell you what 3D does, and I will tell it in the perspective of somebody that doesn't have a budget, like that has like $0 to invest in it. All right.
Okay.
And then I feel like from that perspective, especially for new VTubers, that's going to be what's going to resonate with them way more than just, you know, you have a huge budget and you can just get anything. Because all of the software to make your face function, well, they're both all free, basically. They're free for 2D and 3D. If you really have a $0 budget, go on VR chat, get a free avatar, and there's a green screen map. You can just go there and just put your headset on your head and play a game. That works too. Steam can have 2 apps running at the same time. I feel like 3D is, in that sense, the easiest way to do it. Also, you have access to hand movements, which I do. As a live 2D and as a live 2D model, I can include hands. It's hell of a lot complicated, though. It's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more complex, and I don't, you know, throw my hands on my face a lot, so I don't think it matters for me. But for 3D VTubing, I feel like the easiest way to go at it is definitely VR chat. So you have an easy way to get a model for free, though you will never have the rights to them. So like, just be careful. But hey, Fillion does it, and so it, right? After you get
that's a whole can of worms there.
Yeah, I know.
That one's a major can of worms, especially when that merchandise fiasco hit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't even want to get into it because yeah, it's big. So that's what you have on the 3D side. There's also applications like Vroid that let you create your own 3D model, and then you can put it into VR chat. And rigging's just, you know, like, you kind of still have to do it to an extent, but rigging a VR chat avatar is, I'd say, easier. than learning live 2D. If you want to do a 2D VTuber, there are some that you can buy for free that a lot of people also have. So they're free. Well, they're like $10 or like $50 VTuber model. And also live 2D. VTuber Studio also comes with a free with a couple of free models as well. So definitely, if you're looking at the money side of it, 3D gives you a lot more of a personalization process if you look at it through the lens of using it through VR chat. And also you get hands. On the 2D side, it's a little bit more complicated to get something unique because the work that has been put into doing those is very specific to your own needs. So if you're starting out and you don't know, I'd say go 3D and eventually just upgrade to what you want, you know?
That's interesting because I've always heard people saying you want to start in 2D, not 3D. So that's an interesting take on that.
Yeah, well, I started in 2D. I got the Live 2D program, and I was like, okay, the free trial is 7 days. Back in the day, it was 7 days. So I was like, all right, I'm making this in 7 days. Go. And then I did it. It looked completely horrible, by the way. It was scuffed as hell. So that it's definitely a lot of like learning on your own or having a tremendous amount of money to pay someone to make a model for you. So at that point, you know.
So what kind of money-wise are you talking typically? Just a ballpark figure for those curious.
Well, are you looking at something that's high-end or something that's a low-end? Because basically with artists, you pay for what you get, which is, you know, why people really jumped on AI super quick because it's free and gets you something out there. Sadly, it's not original, and AI art kind of meh. So there's different paths to doing these things. But if you're looking to get a really, really, really strong VTuber model, it can go up to like $8,000.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it can go up there. I have a colleague of mine. Her VTuber model, she paid $6,000 for it.
Wow.
It looks great though. It looks fantastic. Trust me, it does.
But that's a lot of investment up front.
But it's $6,000.
Yeah, it's a lot of investment up front to do it.
So now that's the question: you want to pay rent or eat, or have a nice VTuber model? It's definitely a lot of money. And if I look at the time that I've put into mine, I think it would have been around $8,000 as well. If I look at everything that I did, the research, the learning, the everything, I think it would have costed around that, which is why it's a service I don't offer, by the way.
So how long have you been doing art then, in general?
Since I was born, basically. I was always drawing, always scribbling something in my notebooks, never paying attention, you know, always drawing some things. I was a big Sonic fan, so I was making Sonic and Shadow fight. in my sketchbooks, I was just drawing all the time, and then it turned somehow into anime girls. Yeah, so I was always drawing. Digital art started, I think, like a decade ago. So I do have that belt of experience under me. So I do have a decade of experience with Photoshop. Recently transitioned to Clip Studio Paint. So it's definitely never the same medium, but it was always drawing.
So what has been the biggest hurdle that you've had as an artist?
What do you mean by hurdle?
Like, have you ever ran into like massive creative blocks, or have you had some that you don't like that you've had to redo over and over, or just I know it's kind of a broad question, but just curiosity on that.
I mean, that's the thing when you're an artist and you're trying to learn, especially since you know, I used to be trying to become something that I know I'm not, you know, art-wise. I was trying to make my art look like some artist I really admire. And now I'm slowly realizing that I'll just do me and focus on doing my stuff to just better. But I have to say the learning curve is harsh, and it's hard for it's just hard for the head. So basically, you'll always get stuck at some point. For example, I had this Nami piece that I did, Nami from One Piece, and I put her into like somewhat of a darker attire, and I couldn't get the face right. Like on the sketch, it looked amazing. In practice, I spent 10 hours fixing her face, and I almost punched the wall about it.
That reminds me. It's kind of funny because drawing is just seems like for me, I write too, and I will sit there and I'm like looking at this paragraph, I'm like, okay, this is dog crap. How could I do this? And I'm sitting there and I'm like getting angry because I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? This is just not coming out right. So I could definitely understand that from the artistic side. It's like,
yeah, no, I definitely get frustrated a lot, which is also a reason why I don't do so much art on stream anymore. I keep it normally on Wednesdays. But this week is going to be exceptional since I'm doing volunteer work this weekend, so definitely not going to be doing as much streaming as I want to this week. But I have to say, art-wise, you really have to be concentrated, and the power of concentration you need to really achieve the art that you want to is insane. And I just can't do it as I used to on stream anymore. Because I would rather just talk with people and just make jokes with them and just play with them and just, show them funny things, and then they show me funny things, and then we just have a big laugh together.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, art can get really complicated sometimes. It just, the focus and everything. But, I looked at some of your commissions that you've done, It's very talented. I mean, I was amazed by it. So and that's why I had to ask, how many years have you been drawing? Because, I mean, it was really amazing what you've done.
Thank you. I definitely grinded last year like a I tell you, I grinded the art, the art set, the grind set, art set, just to be able to do better art. So I'd have to say I've been taking art only seriously since 2 years, but I always, drew anime girls. So now I'm really looking and getting interested in anatomy, how muscles work, how they connect, what kind of shading. Lighting as well is really big for me. I tend to really pay attention to what kind of lighting is happening in my pieces. Because you can have shit line art and have it saved by the shadows, because the human eye only recognizes a shape through its shadows and not by its line art.
Really?
Except if you only have line art, the brain will fill up the gaps.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the more you know.
Yeah, power is knowledge.
Power is knowledge. Knowledge is power.
So what is your future goals for your content creation career?
Well, I definitely want to get more into music. Like I said, I did release a song, jabbing at Twitch TOS, which is, it was a parody song of the Has-Been Hotel, You're a Loser, Baby. Or We're a Loser, Baby? I called it We're VTubers, Baby. And it's basically me just telling Twitch that, like, IRL women are just, showing boobs and we can barely show a shoulder. And it's not, like, aggressive. I feel like it's a really light, playful way of just pointing out some issues out there. So a little bit of satire in it is never hurt nobody. And I would like to get more into that kind of singing again. I know some covers I would like to do. Oh, God, I just finished watching Arcane, so maybe we'll get inspired from that as well. But definitely something Christmassy, since we are November 11th at the time of this interview.
Yeah, that's...
so
everybody's already doing Christmas music in this retail. Christmas. Yeah, I'm like, I was like, and don't get me wrong, I like Christmas music, but when you started in October, November, I used to do retail years and years ago, and I'm just I'm like, I got burned out.
It's time.
I could only hear the Beatles.
Mariah Carey.
I could not handle listening to the Beatles. It's Wonderful Christmas Time in the store when I was working, when I was still going to college, and I was just like, oh no, please stop.
Oh yeah. No, trust me. Every single Christmas, my mom will whip out the same fucking CD, and I've been listening to it every year since I was born, except that one year where I didn't spend it with her, and I still heard it during the month. It's insane.
Oh no. So,
Yeah.
do you think that Twitch is really going? So on X, I see a lot of people talking that Twitch is just really punishing, going hard after VTubers. Do you think that's really true, or do you think that it's just they don't understand how they're interpreting things over at Twitch?
Oof. Before I start saying anything, just take everything I say with a grain of salt. Everything I will say is based off of my personal experience and existence. I have read Twitch TOS. I have seen some stuff happen, and my current opinion about that is going to be the following. It might change in the future. Nothing's rock solid. I'm always open for people to point me wrong, so I can update my opinion. And then, just if something is blatantly wrong, it might be the case for now.
Mm-hmm.
So just warning. So what I think about all of this thing and towards VTubers, I personally think that there is some favoritism on the platform. It was always there. Now, do VTubers really read TOS? I do. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think they do and then still get banned. So I'd have to say play it better safe than sorry, and make sure that everything that you throw out there is visible and readable. I know Megalodon got banned on her re-debut. She had like a bikini thing and it was showing thighs. And she had a water in the background, like, a beach type of background. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't beachy enough because, it wasn't watery enough. So it just didn't pass, and they thought it was ground because of the art direction. So it wasn't like watery enough, so they didn't see it, and then she got banned.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I don't think she deserved that at all. But it's to show that you have to be extra clear and put some extra limits up there. The rising popularity of VTubers really does allow someone that, you don't know their face, you don't know their body, you don't know anything about them, to really get to fame in months, maybe. I mean, some of them just pop out of nowhere and just become rising stars, which is super great for them. But I feel like it's this shield that protects the user from all sorts of harassment that is seen as an unfair advantage, maybe by other content creators, big content creators or celebrities that have to put their face out there because it's a technology that first maybe didn't exist while they started, or maybe something that they really can't get themselves into. And I feel like maybe this unfair advantage is making the real life streamers maybe uncomfortable, or maybe feel like they've been played with unfair cards because they should have, I feel like this might have to maybe do with it. I don't know if it does. I just know people are people, and people talk with each other, and words always gets around. So there's definitely that. But regarding all of the bans, a couple of people did deserve them. I mean, there's some stuff you shouldn't talk about on stream. It's cited in the TOS. You should just read it. In some instances, it's ridiculous. Like some people get banned because they zoomed in on their boobs for 5 seconds. I feel like it's ridiculous. But yeah, it's basically, it's never black or white. It's always just a big pool of gray. So if you're a VTuber and you tend to lean towards like sexual jokes or have some graphic stuff, just be careful that might happen to you. I'm doing some pretty schmexy stuff on my stream as well, and I still haven't gotten caught for anything because I'm staying under the TOS. The moment I get banned for something that is not stated, that isn't allowed, that's going to be where I'm going to change probably my opinion.
But you're walking that just thin line, just like, well, we're not stepping over yet. So
exactly. Like just be at the line, but never cross it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that I think it started. I feel like it started because I've been following that because I follow a lot of the VTuber news and stuff that goes on as much as gaming news and stuff. Because when I say I do media, I'm always focused on all aspects of it because this is a growing trend. This is I think a future of content creation, definitely with VTubing. And when I saw Shondo got just randomly banned that one day, and then I'm looking at that, and then several others got banned, and then Megalodon. I'm like, what is going on over there? I need
to send you the song, man. I
was like, what is going on here? I mean, I do remember though, and I don't know if you were streaming around that time when Twitch made that ultimate mistake where they basically said artistic nudity was allowed, and then literally,
I was there.
I was like, holy
and I didn't
crap.
jump on it because people were getting banned right after.
I saw that. I'm like, oh dear God, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to this. Thank you for saying that to me. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh dear God. And literally the first things you see on Twitch that day was just basically porn. And I'm like, well, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, well, I have to say they tried. They just didn't know the internet very well. I have to say it's a common thing, but that's a human problem. You give them, you give them a mile and they'll take 100,
Oh yeah. I had so many memes those 2 days, and I was laughing so much about it because I was just like, wow, they really took this and ran with it.
Yeah. Oh, it was insane. It was insane. I was doing art at the same time, and I just didn't want to raid out. I was like, you know what? We're going to raid somebody who's not doing art today. No, it was pretty crazy. But this event is like, when there's some stuff with banks where you're like, oh my God, there's a secret bank glitch where you can get infinite money and blah, blah, blah. All these people got caught. It's the same thing. Every time you see an opportunity that looks too good to be true, just wait a little bit, I'll let other people get caught and see what happens to them. And then, I'll see what happens.
It's funny you brought that up.
Yeah.
I was laughing now that they're being sued, every one of them, for their money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was like, there is no such thing as infinite money glitch. That's pretty much called check fraud, guys. Like,
yeah, it's a crime. It's a fucking crime.
I'm like, literally, as coming from an accountant, I'm like, you just basically literally committed a felony.
Yeah.
You're going to jail if they wanted to. There is.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe how many people were doing that. I was just like,
oh my God.
I was like, but that's the danger also with content creation is then you get these crazy TikTok challenges that people do, and it's like, I have no idea why they do it. But
people.
Yeah. So, like you said, you give them an inch, they'll take it and run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the saying. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just a little bit here, and then they just take it and run. And you're like,
it's always
whoa!
What it is. It's always what it is. It's whatever. I mean, let's not talk about TikTok because that's just another can of worms as well. There's a lot of can of worms everywhere. Pandora's box.
Yeah, I feel like that's also the funny thing with content creation. We're always running into these little Pandora boxes here along the way. And it's like, do we really want to touch this one? Do we really want to touch this one? And it's like, probably not. But
I mean, I feel like it's important to touch them. The problem is they're incredibly complex issues that have a million of different factors, just affecting these issues, and just talking over them slightly is just not doing these issues justice,
No.
So if you would really like to really get into these topics, you'd really have to dedicate, I think, one entire video or stream to it, because there's just so many things influencing everything at all time. that, you know, to really get the bigger picture, you really have to look everywhere and at everything.
Yeah, it's and that's the tough thing with media too, is if I'm looking at an article or topic, I'll have to pull 6-10 different sources and go through it and like and try to find what's the truth in between them, because everything's a little different in variation and interpretation, and I'm like, so what is the truth here? And I feel like I'm going Sherlock Holmes trying to figure out what is the truth.
What is the truth?
Yeah. But I do feel that with your opinion that you said with the Twitch, I feel similar to that. That I feel like there is that jealousy or anger, maybe not quite so much anger, but jealousy that you can be incognito. And whereas their face is exposed, like mine, because, you know, like I was telling you earlier off before we started the interview, I do gardening and cooking. My face is already out there. All they got to do is listen to my voice and they'll know that I'm out there. And it doesn't take much to figure out who people are. I mean, even when that's true. Even when HoloLive or Nisanji VTubers graduated and they came back, people recognize them through their voice.
Yeah,
it's like it's inevitable. They're gonna, you know, the incognito isn't always as easy, and so I agree with you on that approach, because, but you know, one of the ones that I think's really cool, and I'll bring this up, the duality of it is really cool too. Like Kason, how she can be either her VTuber side or her flesh tuber side. I think that is really, really cool. I mean, but not everybody wants to take that risk.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I have to say, for some people, it's a shield. I mean, to have success on Twitch as a woman, you just have to be hot, man. You just have to be hot. You have to be one of the hottest bitch out there. It's just how it is. It's just, oh my god, no wonder all VTuber girls that are all VTuber. No wonder that all streamer girls that are popular they're all hot. It's because they just have to be hot, and then it just gives them a massive advantage over men as well. But the moment you get behind a VTuber, now it's the voice, which is a little bit more complicated, but you can always go around it with voice mods, which is, I think, what scares a lot of people watching VTubers. It's because they don't know if, you know, who's behind the camera, and oh my god, am I actually talking to a hot girl or what's up?
I've heard the memes.
Yeah, it's out there. I feel like it shouldn't matter who's behind it. The only thing that's important is what you see, right? Because you tune in to see, you know, Sar0ck, or you tune in to see Shy Lily or whatever. It doesn't matter what they are behind the screen, because it's the person that on screen that's important, you know.
Agreed.
Anything that's happening behind. So yeah, and also, you know, small parentheses to that other question before. If Twitch would be using their power to moderate everybody the same, nobody would complain about it.
Yeah, and that's my. I think that's the big reason why I have never really got big on Twitch as far as streaming, as in me trying it or doing it, because of the policies. It just doesn't seem like there is a balanced application of it. And as an outsider that has seen all this stuff, and sometimes I feel like it's easier as an outsider looking in to kind of see the flaws there. It's like, gosh, they make YouTube look like rock stars half the time. And YouTube has its own flaws.
Yeah, YouTube has its own flaws. At the end of the day, you know, I'm still an affiliate for now. And I have to say, I still have the choice to, like, I can dual stream. I can go anywhere until I'm partnered. So I still haven't tried, you know, YouTube yet, because I just, you know, that's not my main platform. I'm really maining Twitch and Twitter. And then, you know, a little bit of YouTube. But
you could always put your VODs on YouTube. If you,
Oh, I'd rather not. Trust me, the amount of shit I say on stream.
you mean you'd be editing for days?
Oh no, it's not about editing. It's just, I know there's somebody I know who is making a VOD channel for me. Well, they're basically doing it for them, but it's all my VODs, so it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I know about it, So it's that's out there. If it's ever gonna get unprivated, I don't know. I don't know.
So here's an interesting question. So this one has been a debate for content creators, and some see good, some say it's bad. Personally, I think it's good, but that's my opinion. I may be a little biased on it. Clipper channels. Do you like them, or do you think that they deter from the content creator?
I personally feel like, well, first of all, I have 2 experiences with Clipper channels that took some clips and just posted it on YouTube. Cool. I mean, the more of me is out there, I'm all for it. But this, again, is another personal issue. I feel like the more of me is out there, the better. Even if it's bad, good or bad, let's put it out there. If it's an embarrassing moment, it. I mean, hey, if it can bring a smile on people's face, I'm all in for it.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Amen to that.
That's where I'm at with it. I just want people to laugh and smile and just forget about the way the world for a day if they can, or de-stress.
Exactly.
That was kind of reason why I got into this too. It's just I wanted to do something because I believe that you need a lot more positivity out there. You need a lot more laughing. There's not enough to laugh nowadays, and God knows laughter's helped me along. Yeah.
No, it's definitely out there, Make the funniest jokes and make the greatest edits and just, put a smile on people's face.
So what advice would you have for somebody that is aspiring to be a content creator?
Oof. I'd say if you really 100% want to do it, know who you are and what your values are before you start anything. Just know where you stand, what you'll allow yourself to do, and what you won't. I know I've said it a couple times, and this might age poorly, but I said I was never going to do an ASMR streams, and every time I do subathon, I put this at an unreasonable amount of subs price because I know we'll never get there. It's a common meme up on my place. I'll never do ASMR ever, and if we get to that goal, then I guess I'll do it. But at least it's gonna be worth it. But it's just just respect yourself, and make sure that you're 100%, 120% sure that whatever's gonna happen, you're gonna be fine with it.
I think that's good advice. I think it is. I've never really understood the ASMR side of things, but I'm like, it's a thing.
I listen to it sometimes. There's this girl who does ASMR, and she kind of like role plays. I was like, oh my God, today you're at the tea shop. And then I listen to that for 3 seconds and I'm already like falling asleep. It's really good for sleeping and keeping your brain from thinking.
I may have to try it one of these times when I'm having a hard time sleeping. I've never considered that because I always see I'm like, but no, that's a good thought on that.
Yeah, my hamster is doing overtime.
Well, so I know that you've talked a little bit about creating Sar0ck, but so what inspired you to create a Punkrock cat girl?
Racoon, actually.
It's Racoon. Oh,
Racoon.
I thought it was a raccoon, but then I was like, wait. You've got me there. You got me there. You did.
Wait. So, are you talking design wise?
Yeah. What made you decide to do Racoon?
Well, if you're talking only about the raccoon part, I mean, it's a pretty punkish animal.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, and they're so goddamn cute. A friend of mine back in the day made me realize how cute they were, and now I just can't get away from them. They're just so cute, and they have like tiny human paws,
Mm-hmm.
and like, like they're not exactly paws, but they're not exactly hands, and they try to do human things sometimes, and it's just so goddamn cute.
And
I've
they're
had
good at
some
stealing.
Oh, they're absolutely good at stealing. Let's fucking go.
I had 3 of them in the backyard that were stealing all the watermelon in the backyard.
Oh, yeah. My dad, he has a couple of them that go and visit sometimes, and I had a face to face with a mom and three adolescents, or like almost babies.
Mm-hmm.
So cute, so cute. I just looked at them and they looked back, and then they minded their own business. I like them.
Yeah, it was funny. I planted in the back of my area. We had planted corn, potatoes, and then we had watermelon. And the mother and the 3 young ones were hiding in the small corn patch. And one night, Mom was out there, and you just hear this growling. Mom's like, "What?" And then she sees the mother raccoon, and then the next day, like half our watermelon was missing. It's like, well, it's like, I know they like the fruit, because they also stole the corn too.
Hey, they do what they can. Everybody's doing what they can to survive.
Yep. But so back to that. So what made you decide to come up with the whole concept overall? How many times did you sketch or think about how you wanted to make the character, or what inspired you to make Sar0ck this way?
Well, I'd have to say, I always kept kind of like the same base with, like, the beanie, the purple hair, and the spiky jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I took a picture of me in the mirror and I was like, all right, let's make this anime. That's it. Just looked at myself and I was like, okay, now you're an anime girl. Let's go. See it. I actually have a battle jacket with spikes at home that I wear. Actually, black beanie, I wear it all the time, especially now that it's gotten colder. Definitely do wear it all the time. I dress like this, man. I straight up just dress like this. Okay, maybe not the straps, but like, yeah, mostly. Yeah, it's pretty real life accurate. Gotta say, the assets are real life accurate too.
That's actually really cool. I didn't even think of that. That somebody literally just took their own persona and just inserted it like that. That is really cool.
Yeah, so technically I am a Mary Sue now, am I?
Maybe.
This is kind of a self-insert, I have to say.
Yeah, but that also explains that question when you were talking about lore. That's one of the interview questions for the audience, but typically it's a work in process. Sar0ck was telling me, so she'll release that when she can.
Yeah, I definitely think lore isn't important for new VTubers, because I feel like, and that's how I feel about it. Actually, that's how I believe people think about it. This is what I believe that people do. I don't think nobody cares about anybody's lore, except for like a couple real hardcore fans. I don't think nobody gives a shit about anybody's lore. But if it's really like served into like a nice YouTube video with like, with like images, like a sort of comic book type, presentation with like some voiceover, some music, then it's kind of cool and it's something to know. And it's like, oh, no, it's more about that VTuber. And this is where it becomes cool. But to have your lore set up and ready, I mean, I don't think it's super important in the beginning.
Yeah, but I have seen people that have done their lore ahead of time, things like that. So it's always one of those questions, because sometimes when you dive into it, it's really interesting, because you can say, well, why'd you think of it this way? And you get it really behind the madness, as I'd say, because we're all a little mad.
Yeah, we are. I have to say, though, I'm glad I didn't do lore like straight up, because Fletcher wasn't there first. I was in a car ride with a friend and we were thinking, I was like, okay, Fletcher must be a thing, and then we made Fletcher a thing. He's my little crow buddy, and he speaks to he has the voice of chat.
Oh, that is awesome. So you have it
Yeah.
set up with TTS then?
Mm-hmm.
That
It's
is
all
really
set up.
cool.
Yeah, and you can feed him, and you can throw bread at him, which is essentially throwing bread at me.
Future goals, you're looking at being partner, maybe depending on how things go, but are you looking to take your art further and more, or are you more focused on VTubing now?
Well, the shift, the shift of the streams definitely have, moved since a couple of months, I'd have to say, and especially during the break during summer, because I had to, rig this thing. I'd have to say my now focus are making streams more interactive, just better, and just overall just working on myself and on the stream for it to be a nice place for people to tune in. I feel like a lot of people really like to hang out there, and they've been telling me how cool it's been for them. So I just want to make it better and always make sure that, I'm improving and I'm evolving with them as well. So, always put new things on the table on the stream every single week. On top of that, I really want to get more into singing, which is some stuff that I started recently. And I had a lot of fun doing some parodies and, just writing some really stupid songs. So I'm definitely into that. Maybe covers as well. It's on the to-do list that I like to do. On top of that, regarding my art, I'd have to say I will continue doing commissions, which is essentially what I'll be doing all week since I'm not streaming that much. I'm taking a small week to just get all my commissions out there because it is important to give your commissions in time, which is always what you get when you order my services. I'm always on time. So, sometimes stream does suffer from it. But I'd have to say, art-wise, I really want to continue doing the posters I've been doing, which is turning anime and game characters into hot punk rock anime chicks, which I love, by the way. I love doing that, and I can't wait to get back to it. But it's a lot to hand out with, especially considering I need to take care of myself as well.
Yeah. And that is the biggest thing is content creator health too. Just making sure you take care of yourself. I mean, I think we take that sometimes for granted, that we need a little bit of time for ourselves for health.
Yeah, no, that's definitely super important. It's not easy to take breaks, I'll tell you, but it's necessary. It's definitely necessary.
So I'm guessing in the back of your mind, when you take breaks, you're like, oh God, I wish I was streaming. I wish I was streaming.
Well, not exactly, because every time I take breaks, it's always because I'm with family or with friends, or, I'm always in a social setting. So I never really take a break to like play a game. I'm like, okay, I could, but I have like 10,000 things I want to do for stream. And the thing that's like kind of counterproductive with me trying to take breaks is I go to sleep and I'm like, oh my God, imagine you can like do that. And then in the stream, like that thing would happen. And I'm like, oh, all right, I need to make it. And making certain things happen, it never takes an hour. It's always 5 or 6 because, it's technical issues. You got to check for this. You got to make certain applications speak with one another. It doesn't always work. Scuff. And then also, it's a lot. So I'd have to say, I'm doing the best I can to take care of myself, but normally when I take breaks it's because my family needs me.
Understandable. Family is so important. I definitely understand that. I've got 2 family members staying with me right now, so I keep pretty busy on that too. Well, thank you, Sar0ck. Thank you so much. And guys, please definitely give a shout out to Sar0ck. I will have her link to her X as well as her Twitch down below on this video. And definitely thank you again, Sar0ck. This has been amazing, and I'm really glad that you were able to reach out with me.
Hey, no problem. You were super polite, and I just had some good vibes immediately.
All
So
right.
thank you for that, and thank you for trying to continue to do this. To be honest, I feel like you're doing a great job, and just never stop asking people.
Thank you.